Hey folks, how's it going? Let me go ahead and get rid of this banner for y'all because our presentation is actually starting right now. My name is Rosendo from Major League Hacking. I'm really hyped to have y'all here today, and I just want to let y'all know we have two great guests with us today. We have Mustafa and Julia, who both work for Ford Motor Company, and what they're going to be doing is discussing what they do on a day-to-day basis, how they got to where they're currently at, and if you have any questions, definitely feel free to just drop it in the chat. And, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and bring Mustafa on stream. How's it going, Mustafa? Oh, you know what? Let me get you here. You were muted just then. Go ahead.
How you doing, Rosendo? I'm good.
Oh, awesome. All right. So I'm just going to let you go ahead and take it from here. I'll see y'all soon. All right.
Awesome. So pleasure to meet you guys. So my name is Mustafa Ahmad. I'm a first-year FCG at Ford Motor Company, FCG standing for Ford College Graduate. I originally was an intern at Ford on the same team that I now am an FCG for. The FCG process is like a 3-year rotation where you kind of get to experience a bunch of different teams. But my original team that I interned in is the site reliability engineering team. So we are kind of the resiliency metrics, the observability of different apps. So it's all the logs that go into the applications. It's making sure that we take those metrics in, we measure them, and we kind of have like a historical data view of what's happening into our applications at Ford. We deal with a lot of APIs. So we work with a lot of like Spring Boot applications. We work with front end systems, of course, because we have to interact with our users, but there's a lot of back end. We focus heavily on paired programming, test-driven development, and continuous deployment. And it's called, test-driven development being where you're writing tests for almost everything. So we have our unit testing covers everything we write. Then we have integration tests and stuff like that. I actually graduated from Wayne State a year ago. I went there for computer science. I'm a Michigan native. So it was, just Ford was right around the corner. Obviously coming in now, my internship was in a physical location. Now it's all remote and virtual. And originally, I applied through the internship program. It was kind of the same thing where it was just, interviews and, getting to know the team. I spent the summer, just kind of learning everything because I didn't know any of the stuff that we do, like at all. So it was definitely a big hill to cross. But afterwards, I, just learned a lot of good practices, clean code practices. That's a book I would actually recommend if you're into software development, Clean Code. It's almost like the philosophy of programming. And it just really taught me about, like, first of all, our team leverages. So as an intern coming in, it was learning about a ton of different languages because our team uses whatever is the best tool. It's not just, hey, we are mostly a Kotlin team, which is similar to Java, but we use the best tool for the job. So if we need to use React, we'll use React. If we need to use Angular, we'll use Angular. If we need some mobile application, we'll use that. And for databases, like we'll switch between MongoDB and Postgres or, SQL versus document. So it taught me how to be flexible with software. And it was definitely a learning curve initially. After that summer, I just spent a lot of time asking questions. So it was learning how to approach my team members without feeling like they thought I was asking dumb questions, and making sure the things that I didn't understand, I would write them in a notebook, and I'd come the next day and I'd say, okay, I didn't understand what this even meant. What did this mean? And then I'd kind of go through that and just cross things out. So definitely an exciting experience. Coming back to the team, it was nice having some foundations, but of course, even coming back as an FCG, I was not anywhere near prepared. Now I'm feeling more comfortable, but again, there's a lot of learning curve when it comes to graduating and the things we do in school versus what you do on the job. It's day and night, really. The way I like to think about it is like you're learning the foundations of what it takes to be a software developer, but what we do when you come to like the workforce or like at a company like Ford is almost everything is brand new and things are just coming out. And you're trying to adapt to software, which is always changing, and you're implementing new tools and new implementations and new paradigms. So you have to learn how to be a quick learner because the learning never stops, right? And have like some interest in figuring out, okay, what works best for me? Because not everyone learns the same way, and it's learning how to adapt to that. I definitely recommend pairing if you're able to, especially if you're not comfortable with the language. That's the best way I learn. I pair with somebody who's really good at the language, and that forces me. And paired programming, just in case somebody doesn't know, it's where you kind of take turns. So one of you is on the keyboard, only typing code and not having to think of how to structure the code. So it's mostly just the driving. That's what they call that. And then there's the navigation, which is somebody kind of talking about, okay, what are we writing? I want you to write a class that does this and implements that. So there's a lot to learn sometimes. And I think that's a good way to kind of adapt, especially if you have somebody who is more comfortable with the language. So that's been, it's been exciting and, definitely just a lot to learn, but just very fulfilling. It feels very good to kind of implement software that actually affects real world applications. And obviously, like Ford Motor Company being millions and millions of people, and the things you deploy, you get to see, right? And even though you're like on the back end, you kind of see where your interactions happen with the car and how that affects the actual end user. And that's very fulfilling, because you don't feel the same way as, you're writing maybe a project and, just kind of very small scope. It doesn't really affect anyone in class. Here, the things you do actually are meaningful and they impact the world. And you kind of get to see that and measure that, which is very cool, sometimes terrifying, but very, very exciting, definitely. It just teaches you how to be someone who's always learning, making sure your code is resilient, actually clean, written, things are tested because you are affecting real people and there is an actual impact in the world, So it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to see, kind of what you guys do with the hackathon. I love hackathons. So we've had, coming in as the FCGs, we had 2 hackathons this year, and I'm the back-to-back champ. No, but it's been nice. It was like working with a great team, and it's been a very fun experience because it's nice to kind of step away from kind of the centralized code that you're consistently working on and kind of come up with a new innovative idea. It's a very good muscle to learn. So it's very exciting that you guys are doing this.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mustafa. Honestly, It's been a real pleasure to have you join us. Just so everyone out there knows, Mustafa will be joining us again in a couple of minutes just to answer any questions that you may have, or at the very least to sign off and say goodbye before he leaves. I did want to, give a shout out for talking about things like Clean Code. That's a great book to learn and read from, to learn from and read. Also, definitely pair programming. It's a hackathon this weekend, so you'll have plenty of opportunities to do that with your fellow participants. Once again, thanks so much for, lending us your expertise today, and we'll see you again shortly.
Thank you.
So I did want to introduce Julia, who is also an employee at Ford, and she'll be talking about everything that she does on a day-to-day basis. And let me go ahead and make sure she's ready. And here we go. Hey, Julia, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for joining us today. I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to the crowd before I went ahead and signed off.
Sure.
All right, y'all. See you in a second.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. My name is Julia Fabashevsky. I am a product owner at Ford Credit. So I work in the commercial fleet financing division of Ford Credit, and I work to deliver digital experiences to our commercial and fleet customers. In particular, I work on easy pre-approval and kind of the application experience for commercial customers. So I've been at Ford for 5 years. That entire time I've worked on customer-facing software products, digital products, and I've worked on teams that Mustafa was describing. So the software teams that I've been a part of have practiced paired programming. We also talk about a balanced team approach to software development. So this means that our software delivery teams are comprised of 3 main components. We have software engineers who represent the technical feasibility and the technical point of view of the product. We have product designers on the team who represent the human aspect about how a human is going to interact with what we're building. And then we have product owners and product managers who represent business strategy and marketing and how we're going to get the product that we're making to market. So we work in a really collaborative way, those three roles on one team. We call it a balanced product team. And it's really collaborative. One of the reasons that we do that is so that information isn't siloed. We kind of say that each of these three roles have ownership of their particular expertise of the product. And when you're able to bring those three very distinct pieces and points of view into what you're building, you have the best chance to make the most successful product. So currently at Ford Credit, I am working on two initiatives. I'm working on a digital application for commercial customers who are applying for a commercial line of credit. And I'm also working on some digital experiences for electric vehicle financing. So they're two really exciting projects. They're, particularly the electric vehicle world. This is cutting edge technology. It's things that have never been done before. So we're experimenting with new technologies. We're also experimenting with new strategies and working with a lot of partners, both on the Ford Motor side and in Silicon Valley. And it's pretty rewarding work. And I can just talk a little bit about a career at Ford in general. I've been at Ford for 5 years. For me, one of the biggest takeaways is that I was surprised when I joined Ford at how many ways your career can twist and turn without you expecting it. So I've had, all of my experiences have been in the same theme of digital experiences, customer-facing digital experiences, but I've worked on a lot of different things, over the course of the 5 years, and pretty distinct things. And that's surprising. And I don't think something that's so easy to do at other companies. Some of my other experiences before I joined Ford include working for universities, working for the federal government, working for startups, working for nonprofits. And in most of those industries, you're really siloed into the particular hat or role that you're wearing. And at Ford, that isn't the case. If there's something that you're interested in or something that you want to learn, something else that you want to get involved in, you have a lot of flexibility and autonomy to do that, which I really appreciate. So I'll end there and wait for some questions to come in through the chat.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Julia, for providing us with that insight. It seems like Ford is a great organizational matrix where you can try on many hats and basically get involved with a lot of different initiatives within the company. I think it's amazing that y'all are doing a focus right now on electric vehicles, which does lead me to let y'all know, everyone that's out there watching, we do have the best lifestyle improvement hack for drivers powered by Ford prize category this weekend. So win yourself some awesome Ford related swag. You can act as if you're already hired and also get your resumes reviewed by someone at HR there, in case you do happen to be super interested in any of the, in any of the roles or the responsibilities or the opportunities that Julia and Mustafa have spoken about today. So yeah. Awesome. Let me bring Mustafa back on the stream as well. Honestly, it's been super great having y'all. If y'all have any questions out there, definitely feel free to drop them in chat. Otherwise, it's been super awesome just having you two join us today. It's really a pleasure to have our sponsors take such great interest in everything that we're doing on a weekend over weekend basis. We do have one question here from Amina. She asks if Ford is also working on AI/ML.
Yeah, we are. There's a dedicated team that's doing that at Ford Credit. And I know that there's multiple teams that are using those technologies on the motor side.
Yeah, and obviously autonomous vehicle, the whole division there. So there's a lot of different teams, and even there's a GDINA, which is like the global data organization at Ford, and they're heavily involved in machine learning, AI, and all those kinds of things, just because they have such big data sets.
Awesome. Just for me personally, do you think like the future in a lot of the automotive industries and like where the technology is currently leading does point towards like some sort of AI and ML applications across the board?
Sure. I think that, any industry, including auto, is going to need to adapt to the most current and most efficient technologies out there. And AI and ML are, among those technologies. So we better figure out how to use them and optimize them in our work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like even so in like our department, like some of the things we're setting up, there's such large data sets that a lot of times teams struggle using them. So we track millions of logs a week. So good luck keeping up with all of that for your product. So I think there has to be a point where teams start implementing data problems where there's something filtering things for them and predicting, hey, something's going down, something's happening, you need to look into this. So there's going to be a lot of applications, and there's definitely, you hear of more and more hirings in our department and other departments where people have an AI and machine learning background. So it's definitely going there.
Awesome. Speaking of hirings, we do have a question from Vishwakirti. And don't get mad if I mispronounce that. I apologize in advance. But they ask, how can we join Ford as a developer?
You can go to careers.ford.com and apply. You can also, Rosendo, can I give like my personal Ford email?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's I'll say it out loud, and
I'll type it out in the chat.
Or something. Yeah, it's JFABISZE@Ford.com. You can send me an email, and I can send it to our HR partners, and you can get more information that way.
Awesome. All right. We've got another question from Toxic Mender. Are you using geospatial information system? Where and how, if possible, to disclose?
I don't know what that is, so I'm not sure if we're using it.
There's some teams mapping out like nationwide car usage, and I don't know those. Like, I'm not part of those teams, but yes, we'll see them in presentations because we have like demos where the department kind of shows the things that they've done for the week, and you'll see, user activity across the map. So nothing I can probably share, but yeah, there's definitely stuff there.
It's awesome. Yeah, as was mentioned during the presentation, Ford is definitely working on some cutting edge technology. So if y'all are interested in learning more about that, definitely visit careers.ford.com. And if you want, you could reach out to any of the folks that were on the stream today. Really, oh, by the way, Vishwakirti says thanks. So thank you for that answer, Julia. Honestly, I think that's pretty much it for the questions. Unless anyone out there has anything else, I'll go ahead and yep, you're welcome. I'll go ahead and let Julia and Mustafa sign off here. With this last thing, Ford is great. Just better time. Don't worry, all the cars in the future will be
pass that feedback on.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, so it's been great. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Julia and Mustafa, for joining us on the stream. And once again, if any of you out there have any questions, feel free to reach out and feel free to join us again next week. We're going to have other content as well. But don't forget to apply for the Ford Prize category. Make sure that you join in and create a project that's worthwhile. Later, y'all.